You ever walked into your house and noticed a sound that you thought was suspicious? What happened? 1. Not a sound but a lack of a sound. My wife, kids and I had just returned from grocery shopping. As usual, the kids rushed into the house, leaving the front door wide open and mom and dad to carry in the groceries from the car. It was then that the lack of a sound drew my attention. No dogs running around welcoming us home and barking in excitement. I called the dogs but they didn't come. I searched the downstairs rooms with an increasing feeling of dread. When I reached the lounge, there were the dogs sitting quietly watching a blank TV screen in the corner of the room. Feeling a complete fool for my panic, I sat down in my armchair and called them to me. They didn't come but remained sitting in the middle of the room staring at the TV. I was mystified at this most unusual behavior until a small voice sounded. "Please mister, can you call off the dogs?" Hiding behind the TV, which he pulled back into the corner, was a small boy of about 11 or 12. I instantly asked how he had got into my home. Quivering with fear, he pointed to a very small ventilation opening above the main picture window. How he managed to squeeze through such a narrow space was a mystery to me. I left him where he was and called the police. When they arrived, I put the dogs in the kitchen. The Bobbies questioned the boy, who turned out to be the brother of a youth well known to the police. As the kid was so young, all the police planned to do was take him home and inform his parents. I never found out what happened to him. I made a great fuss of my dogs and gave them a double helping of dog food for their supper. I modified my ventilator to make it impossible for anyone to repeat an entry. 2. One day our neighbor called me at work, saying that there was someone in our house. The TV was blaring away but nobody was answering the door, and she knew that we were all either at work or school and there should not have been anyone at home. There was no sign of any break-in. I ran home to discover the house all still locked up and no sign of a break-in. But yes, the TV was blaring away to beat the band. The remote control was still in its pocket at the side of the settee, untouched. This happened another couple of times, and although I do not believe in ghosts, people started making jokes that maybe we had a haunted TV. Then I found out the reason. I was off sick one day with a minor bug and was snoozing on the settee. I caught the culprit red-handed. There was an on/off button on the front of the TV, which was quite low down, on a stand. I actually caught the cat going up to it and swiping at it with his paw until the TV came on. Clearly he was lonely by himself at home all day and wanted the sound of the TV for company. 3. I was 13 and my mom and I had just come home after a long vacation. We walked into the entryway of our house, which happened to be the kitchen, and it was dark out and the house had that weird extra quiet feeling that it does when it's been empty for a while. My mom needed to make an urgent phone call, so she shushed me while she looked up the phone number. As we stood there silently while she flipped through her address book, suddenly a man's voice spoke from around 5 feet away from us. He said something like, "Don't forget to close the curtains." I no longer remember his exact words. The only problem was that there was no one where the voice was coming from. The living room and the whole house were empty. It was very clear where the voice came from. You could hear the exact spot. My mom and I locked eyes and froze. She said, "Did you just hear a man's voice say, 'Don't forget to close the curtains'?" I said yes. My mom searched the whole house and there was no one there. Our neighbors were far from the house, so it couldn't have been them. The TV was off and in another room and there was no radio. This was decades ago and I'll never forget it. 4. I'm actually still laughing at this. BC, I thought I was losing my mind. About 10 to 12 days ago I started hearing what sounded like this low,